Hello and welcome to Carlos Castaneda, the Wheel of Time, the wisdom of the shamans of ancient Mexico. So to begin this, Happy New Year, by the way. So I was thinking today about all the activities I do, writing, painting, meditating, working sometimes, martial arts and various other things, pursuits that I enjoy. And I realised that for about 9 or 10 months I hadn't really been practicing sorcery, not as I used to. I mean, I've been kind of pursuing this esoteric path for maybe 25 years or something like that. But it's got more intense, it's got more involved, or, well, maybe not as exciting as it was in the past. I mean, I'm not using large amounts of hallucinogenic plants anymore. But I realized today, when I was doing my meditation, and I got into this trance-like state, which is not my usual state that I get into in meditation, but I realized that the will has to be relinquished. We have to stop becoming anything to realize the totality of ourselves. So I want to take a much more inquiring, fluid approach to matters of sorcery. But anyway, the realization that I didn't tell you was that I had my activities planned. I wanted to do a certain amount of hours of this, so many hours of that, so that I wasn't falling behind in any way. Like this last winter, I realised I hadn't played chess for over a year, and I was pretty much doing that regularly since I was a kid. So, 7 years old. So there are some lines that are not up to speed, and the goal of a warrior, a practitioner, a sorcerer, is to get all the lines up to speed. To become your greatest self, your highest, widest, deepest, most profound, wisest, most compassionate, most intelligent self. See? So, being on this path for a quarter of a century and going into the late summer period in Taoist terms, I realised that I wasn't knacking up the hours in sorcery for 9 months. I was doing it for the first 3 months of last year. That was all I was doing with sorcery all the time, talking about it, thinking about it, practicing it. It became a bit of it became an obsession, and my writing fell away. My painting fell away. My relationship was just crazy, and I ended up, having to go through a rehabilitation process for myself, let's say, because I was too much geared in a certain direction. So I took a bit of a break. Anyway, I'm coming back. I'm coming back to it, and I realised that I must put in the hours sorcery-wise as well, without, doing it 30, 40 hours a week. And going through the sort of karmic cycles too quickly, and getting into confrontations with bank managers and just unpleasant situations, let's say, that really can take you in a in a different direction, a negative direction. Not that negativity is doesn't have its uses. It does. It's here to challenge us, to test us, to make us become whole. So we have to confront our shadows. Anyway, back to sorcery. So I'm going to be discussing some quotes as usual because I want to finish the series. I mean, it's a lifelong quest. I won't stop, but I want to explore it in a more open-minded and sincere fashion. So this is where I left off last time. The basic difference between an ordinary man and a warrior is that a warrior takes everything as a challenge, while an ordinary man takes everything as a blessing or as a curse. So, if we think of ourselves as ordinary people, we kind of tend to abdicate responsibility for ourselves, like our health. We might say, "Oh, to hell with I won't think about my health. I'll just drink and smoke and take drugs or eat junk food, and I'm not taking care of my body. I'm not thinking about longevity. I'm not treating this vessel with the respect it deserves to function, to be impeccable, because impeccability, a prerequisite for impeccability is being in good physical shape. Well, I was getting bent out of shape in the past, not because of food, but because of overuse of power plants and other substances, and also that my supremely healthy diet became, I started eating lots of sugar and chocolate and things like that, and over the last 10 years my weight became a problem. So I'm trying to get all lines up to speed now, because we just never know when death is going to tap us on that left shoulder. As warrior sorcerers, we have to be vigilantes. Vigilantes of the spirit. So if you have allies, then don't say, don't look at it negatively and say, "Oh, we must get rid of all these comparisons I'm making with myself and other people because somebody's doing better than I am in some situation or another." Same, how do you approach it? Everything is material for learning. So, an ordinary man takes everything as something really good or something really bad. And I've talked about this before. I realise that I'm repeating myself now, so I won't say any more about that, other than a warrior takes everything as a challenge. When you look at it life that way, then you just deal with things moment to moment. And how impeccable can you be in those moments without complaining or regretting anything? It's not good and it's not bad. A warrior aims at neutrality. The trump card of the warrior is that he believes without believing. Without the awareness of death, everything is ordinary, trivial. It's only because death is stalking him that a warrior has to see that the world is an unfathomable mystery. Having to believe in such a fashion is the warrior's expression of his innermost predilection. Your innermost predilection is to escape from the tonal, escape from limitation. We spend far too much time in the tonal, far too much time in there with ambition, things that don't satisfy us, things that are not part of our path with heart, things that are a waste of time completely, that have nothing to do with our real original selves. Our aim is to be authentic in the world, to be an original and noble expression of spirit, of the divine. We are divine sparks. We're not important. We're greater than anything that could be called important. We are ultimately the Tao, the universe, the totality. So a warrior has to believe. If he doesn't see it presently, has to believe in it. Believe in the force. Reach out with your feelings. You see, be willing to be a fool. Refuse no experience. Because our earthly life is brief. I mean, even if we can extend it 100 years or so, still not very long. The universe is something like, well, as far as we know, 15 billion years old. We've only been around, 4.5 billion years of Earth time, and we've only been around a million years at most, 200,000 years probably in our present Homo sapien pitiful condition. Then, in lasting a mere 80 years if we're lucky. Now, we don't want that. Dying in some hospital and surrounded by strangers. And no, we want something more graceful, something more diligent. The Buddha says, work out your own salvation with diligence. That was his last words. That was the Buddha's last words. The last words of the Buddha have to be the ultimate, because he's going into Parinirvana. Anyway, enough of that spiritual stuff. So a warrior has to believe. He believes anyway, just for the hell of it. Because that makes things, belief makes things possible. When Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back couldn't get his X-Wing fighter using the Force out of the water because he didn't believe it, Yoda said, "That's why you fail." And he did it, didn't he? Because he not only believed in the Force, he used the Force. You can be the same. Believe it. Death is the indispensable ingredient in having to believe. Without the awareness of death, everything is ordinary, trivial. I've just said that. Fuck. What planet am I on? Okay. Next one. Right. Why am I talking about this anyway? Okay. Power always makes a cubic centimetre of chance available to a warrior. The warrior's art is to be perennially fluid in order to pluck it. So we have to abstract ourselves, be small, be humble, because we require that acute sensitivity that comes from being the smallest creature. The tiniest spark, just buzzing there in the universe somewhere, in time and space, buzzing, that little electron, the whole universe is surrounding it. The universe is that little spark, but at the same time it's the whole universe which contains all the sparks. It's a spark within billions of sparks. So you have to be perennially fluid in order to pluck that cubic centimetre of chance which is manifesting. We need an awareness of spirit, a heightened awareness. The average man is aware of everything only when he thinks he should be. The condition of a warrior, however, is to be aware of everything at all times. Everything at all times. That's fairly self-explanatory, intellectually speaking. But you need to be able to live it, to feel it in every moment, in order to pluck that cubic centimetre of chance. And just the condition of a warrior, a sorcerer, a practitioner, a shaman, whatever you want to call it, is to have that 360-degree awareness, with a view to survival, with a view to longevity. The totality of ourselves is a very mysterious affair. We need only a very small portion of it to fulfill the most complex tasks of life. Yet when we die with the totality of ourselves. So we die, everyone dies experiencing the totality of themselves. That must be a thing to look forward to, you know. Not that I'm suggesting you go and kill yourself to get there sooner, but just experience the fact that we are going to, it's inevitable, everybody's going to experience the totality of the universe before they die, because the self and the universe are the same thing, right? Then everybody's going to experience that upon death. But Tibetan Buddhists teach us that, you see what they say, the lamas, the enlightened lamas of Tibet, you know. Oh, I've forgotten what it was. But it had something to do with the totality of ourselves. Yeah, experiencing the totality of ourselves. Everybody experiences it, but they only get it for a glimpse, and then they lose it, and they have to go through the bardo realms, and then they have to be reincarnated in future body, the next life, the reincarnation on the plane to learn the same lessons that they didn't learn last time. You know, so the idea of being on earth is to clear karma and not create any new difficulties, any new problems, any new karma, right? So let's sort of mixing the whole thing. But this is Toltec. This is Toltec sorcery. So the idea of being a warrior is to experience it in this lifetime, to experience everything, the totality of ourselves, the totality of the universe, while we're still conscious in a body, to experience it in the body, to go into infinity in the body, and that requires practicing cultivation exercises, yoga, going to the gym, keeping your diet right, maybe doing magical passes, integrity, and all that sort of thing. I don't do integrity. I've developed my own form of qigong because I've been practicing. I was practicing Falun Gong since 2004, almost on a daily basis. Same with meditation, but it went back further than that. I was doing Tai Chi before that, and other martial arts before that. But anyway, it's all personal history. I'm trying to clear it all now and bring the best of what I've practiced, and not like the fucked up version of me, you know, into the present challenge. So, a rule of thumb for a warrior is that he makes his decisions so carefully that nothing that may happen as a result of them can surprise him, much less drain his power. So, a rule of thumb is something that we don't break. It's like a divine principle, a commandment, one of the 10 commandments. You know, we don't break it. We try not to break it. You know, I'm not a Christian, but I was brought up a Catholic, so I know about the 10 commandments. I know about the 5 precepts in Buddhism because I did a master's degree in that. So then I was studying it for 7 years before that. You know, I've studied Taoism. I've had 13 years teaching under a. Anyway, I've talked about all that in the book. So a Taoist teacher, right, and another sorcerer. But anyway, yeah, don't let anything drain your power. Make your decisions carefully. Don't be a fool. Don't get into stupid miscalculations. You know, I'm not trying to be dogmatic here, but rules of thumb, we definitely do have to be vigilant. That's the time to get serious because, you know, it's deadly serious. Okay, right. Let's stop there. And again, Happy New Year. I hope you've learned something from this video. I hope you can take something from it. Sorcery is something natural, an activity that we should that we practice to bring joy and goodness into the world, to bring the magic back, to bring the spirit back. And when you have a life in contact with the spirit, it's like being a child again, you know. And we see the value of childhood, but with the wisdom of intent, the spirit, you know, the ancient wisdom that has spoken to mankind throughout the ages.